Welcome back to the Refined Lad. Today I'm going to continue talking with you guys about manipulation as well as how it plays into relationships and things that we can look for and tactics. I'm also going to be sharing with you today a testimony or an account of one of my clients and something that they are currently dealing with that pertains to this topic. So let's get into it. Manipulation. If there's something that I might add to the last video, number one is that they isolate individuals. And so when they go to isolate these people that are unsuspecting, right? In particular in relationships, even before it becomes a relationship, there will be that person that we discussed earlier that is love bombing, right? I'm telling you, I'm complimenting you, I'm giving you all sorts of things that you've never heard in your entire life is yearning for. But the red flags aren't going up because it's a stranger giving us this sense of belonging, this sense that we are worthy. Whereas a healthy version of that would be that we can find within ourselves, we have that high self-esteem. I am a treasure. Like, I am blessed. I can do this. I am capable. I am talented. I am wonderful. I am magnificent. Your I am statements are so powerful. Something that I would like to do that I still haven't done is to take a piece of paper, to take a sticky note and put it in my vehicle. And every day when I look at it, it'll say those I am statements that I'm looking on working towards, right? You guys have heard me talk about this book, Think and Grow Rich, and that plays a huge part into it because we are quite literally making our subconscious a reality. And so getting back to it, when we have these I am statements, when we start to understand who we are, when we start to have this identity, it is much more difficult to control an individual in comparison to if I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want to do in life. I don't know what I want to be. I don't know where I want to go. Because with this uncertainty, these manipulators, narcissists, sociopaths, can create a reality for you that they want specifically for you. So they'll be like, you know what? I don't know what school I want to go to yet. I think I want to go into this. And you might get a friend that you don't really understand, like, who they are identity-wise, right? But then you find out they're a snake. But at the time, they're like, you know, I think that you should go towards this school if you like this. But personally, I think that you're much more better inclined to go to do this. And I'm not saying to not trust individuals, but what I am saying is to be very careful about who you are around and who you're listening to. Because these manipulators love nothing more than to be able to control things behind the scenes. You know, the whole puppet master analogy that I've shared. They want to be in control of you without you knowing. And so one of the key indicators that works with these manipulators is because it is a game to them, they have that element of surprise. And so when they don't have that element of surprise, it's kind of like the game's over, right? They're not looking to play anymore because you're getting a hint at who they are. And so getting back to this isolation, the isolation is to keep you away, okay? When I was sharing that part about the girl that I consider to be my first love in that last video, the very first thing that she did was she complimented me and gave me all these things that I was yearning for, right? Because I had a deep mother wound. She knew just what to say. And so one of the things that she did after that, after she gained my trust, right? And this is the other thing, is I only knew her for a number of months, but I let my guard down to be able to listen to her, to hear from her. And she wanted me to stop hanging out with certain friends. Now, I will say personally, at the time, my best friend and I, we were, partiers. We had some good times together, but I was kind of dying down from that type of a lifestyle for a while. And she insisted that I don't see him as long as we were together. So she gave me an ultimatum, and, obviously this is something that I'm not proud of, but she had convinced me that my homie was super, bad to be around, super negative influence. I mean, and she wasn't completely wrong, but she was extremely wrong in the sense that she was using it for her own agenda and for her own purpose. And so him and I still communicate to this day. But it took a lot of trust to be reestablished, because while her and I were seeing each other, that was probably about half a year. And I hadn't seen him in that time period. And she requested that I no longer talk to him, that I never hang out with him, that I don't see him as long as we were together. And because that love, that adoration that I wanted so deeply that I didn't get as a kid, I looked for it in this woman that was promising it to me. And I even threw my best friend under the bus. And that's just like one example. They tend to isolate. And so focusing on the isolation, I want to share with you guys something that came up last week. I believe it was last week. So the client that I had reached out to me, and they have separated from their family because their family upbringing was not conducive to growth. Their family would put them down. Their family would treat them like the black sheep. And they didn't need that. So they called me, and I hadn't heard from them in a little while. I've been meeting with this person for about 6 months or so, virtually. And I said to her, how has he been treating you? And she says, well, he's been treating me decent, but then he does the opposite. And so I was telling her that this dude is 100% manipulating, right? He's getting what he wants out of the relationship, which is the sex. And she is getting what she wants out of the relationship, which is that loving feeling, right? The sex is a byproduct, but she feels loved, she feels wanted, she feels cared for, and she's doing all these things for him because she's actually falling in love with him, whereas he is absolutely playing her to a T. So it gets progressively worse as she's sharing this with me, as she says that he makes comments at how she looked when she was younger and that he liked her a certain way. And I was like, this is peak manipulation. I am, again, chipping away at any sort of confidence that you have.
JD's gonna hit that flag, but JD...
I was just thinking about the first time I told Turk about you.
She knows that she has had these issues because she decided to open up to him, which is another thing that I highly do not suggest for people that you are just meeting. Do not trauma bond with a stranger. Do not trauma bond with an individual unless you have some sort of track record, past history with them, and you are willing to let that guard down. I do not advocate for anybody sharing trauma unless they fully trust. And believe it or not, there are people out there that will make you look bad on purpose because they are upset at how successful you are. So we fast forward to the conversation, and I tell her, here's what you're going to do. I said, you're going to establish boundaries with him, and you're going to see how that goes. So she establishes some boundaries with him, and she says that she needs some time to think, and she doesn't think that this relationship is two-sided, and a bunch of stuff. Basically, I gave her an idea, and she said what she wanted to say. She shares it with him, and he immediately is blowing up her phone, and he starts threatening this messed up BS, right? He's like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm already, like, feeling sick. You're making me sick. I'm uncontrollably vomiting now. You're, like, making me... This dude is straight up, like, gaslighting. This dude is coming up with, like, maybe he has a real illness. I highly doubt it. But this dude is coming up with a story, right? The sympathy card. So now that he knows he can't manipulate, he's going the other way around. And he's like, oh, you're doing this to me. Like, I loved you. You can't treat me like this.
My heart, I wanted to marry him so bad. This is the man I loved.
And it is so scary because as soon as she told me that, I said, this guy is not a man. The fact that he did not respect your boundaries and have a healthy conversation with you, he's not a man. The fact that he's trying to emotionally manipulate you and coerce you into feeling sorry for him because all of a sudden he's sick and he can't control his emotions, he should have dealt with that trauma. I got women watching this. Women, same thing goes for you. There is no exceptions. And so I told her, I said, if he doesn't respect your boundaries, tell him, if you think that this relationship is unhealthy, you need to cut it off. You need to cut it off. So she cuts it off. And I said, okay, now if he continues, what do you want to do? And she's giving me all these scenarios. The dude's still blowing up her phone, right? And this is all in the span of, I don't even know, dude, this is like rapid texting, and she's giving me updates. He's in this span of maybe like an hour, 2 hours, and he just keeps on going. And then he tries calling her, and she blocks his call. And then he literally emails her and he's like, I'm going to come over to your apartment. Like, this isn't right. Talk about not respecting somebody's boundaries. These are the type of guys, this is what I tell you guys all the time. These nice guys that are, they play this nice guy, right? These are the most dangerous individuals because they do not tell you their intentions up front.
You to live your best life. It's brave what I do for you. It's not easy. It's hard. Sometimes it makes me sick. I'm brave.
These guys don't know how to take no for an answer. These are the same guys that you see in society of extreme feminism pushing this. Men are misogynistic. Men are hyper-masculine. Men have toxic masculinity. No, these are the men that don't know how to take no for an answer. So fast forwarding, she's doing much better. From what I understand, she's not talking to him, but he like was trying to contact her through email. And you know, these guys, they don't stop at anything. The ones who know how to manipulate. And the same thing with women. Manipulation is not sex specific. We need to destigmatize this whole concept that it's just men or it's just women. Now I can tell you right now, biologically, women in particular, at a young age, are taught to use puppy eyes with their father when they're waiting on things in the store, right? Women do have a cunningness to them. Women do have a natural manipulation. But it does not state the fact that a man himself cannot manipulate more than a woman. They're both able to manipulate. So the other thing that I want to share before I close this out with you guys is you will find I did a video on energy vampires. And energy vampires are people who would suck and zap away your energy, right? You just feel tired when you're around them. You feel like hopeless. You feel depressed. These people that are narcissists, these people that are sociopaths are known for sucking energy. They are energy vampires. Because their only goal is to take, and never to give back. Our goal as healthy individuals is to give and not expect to receive. Now we want to receive, right? That'd be the right thing to do, but in life you're not always going to receive back from others. If I give you a gift doesn't mean I'm going to get a gift back. It isn't about that. But manipulators also use gifts as a form of control. Going back to the story that I was just sharing, the fact that he was nitpicking little parts about her but then would give her love, he's creating what we learned in psychology. It's like a conditioning, right? It's this intermittent reward system. If you're good, I'll give you this. If you're bad, I'll give you this. The same thing goes with women in marriage, is they will deliberately withhold sex from a man if they don't like what he is doing, and that is also wrong. That is a form of manipulation that is not justified. So hopefully this story gives you some more in-depth realization that everything that you encounter on a daily basis, other people are also dealing with. When we gain a circumspect view of everything that is around us in the world, when we pull ourselves out of our head, we can walk in others' shoes and go, oh yes, they have this, they are dealing with the same exact issue. How can I help this person? And I think that's what's important about this community, is it's not so much about nitpicking about people or getting rid of people or building ourselves up. It's about supporting one another, right? It's about supporting each other through times of turmoil, times of tribulation, different types of relationships that we're going through, and to be able to give somebody the honest truth about what is going on. If you like what I'm talking about, hit the notification bar. I release videos weekly. Also, update Tuesdays. I'm still planning on releasing videos on Tuesday, but I will be doing the video the night before now just because I want to create better content. And as always, stay frosty.